So I've been making these since I was around 16, and I've kind of evolved the recipe because I used to make them with store-bought pitas. I used to make them with store-bought garlic sauce, store-bought spices. So as I got older, I started making everything from scratch, and it's so good. I think we eat this once a week. And also, if you love cheese, add some cheese into your pita as well, because that is amazing. It makes it just a lot creamier. Yeah, I can highly recommend it. Okay, so we're making pita bread today with chicken shawarma, and I just finished my run. Just took a shower, still need to do some grocery shopping, haven't eaten anything today. So I need to do that as well, put some makeup on. But I just wanted to get started with our dough because it needs to rise for an hour and then rest for another 30 minutes, not hours. So yeah, let's get started with that. I have my flour, 500 grams of flour. Use a flour that has a higher protein level. The higher the protein, the easier it is to develop gluten. So that's 500 grams. Now you add 330 grams of lukewarm water. And 7 grams of dry instant yeast. Now, with the dry instant yeast, you don't have to mix it with water first. You can just add everything in. 30 grams of olive oil and 9 grams of salt. Make sure when you put your salt in, don't put it directly on top of the yeast. They say it can kill your yeast. I'm not sure if it's a myth, but I don't want to find out. So just put it on the other side of the bowl. Okay, we're going to knead for about 10 minutes or until you have a nice supple dough that's smooth and doesn't have any structure and it doesn't stick. So I'm going to show you what that looks like, but first let's get kneading. We're about 10 minutes into our kneading process. Our dough is very supple, it's uniform, it doesn't look rough, it's very smooth, and also it's still a bit tacky, but it doesn't break off and stick to your hands like it does when you're not kneading it right. So this is what it looks like. I'll give you a little close-up. Ta-da! Now always wet your hands when you touch your dough because that just helps with the non-stickiness. And also I knead on either 4 or 6 on my KitchenAid. I know it says, I think it says you can only knead up to 2, but you know, work it. You need to work for it. I don't have the KitchenAid to not knead stuff fast. So I'm just always kneading it on either 4 or 6 and it works out fine for me. So keep in mind that your dough needs to be smooth. It needs to not stick as much, and it takes around 10 minutes for it to be right. So I'm going to cover this with a damp kitchen towel, and I'm going to let this rise for about an hour until it has doubled in size. It is quite warm, so it's likely that I'm done sooner than an hour, or that it has risen before that hour ends. Just check your dough always, and never look at the clock, always look at your dough. And we're back. The dough has been rising for about an hour. It's nice and doubled in size. Beautiful. I'm going to weigh it now. And it's fine if you punch out the air because you're going to let it rise for another period of time. Okay. It's 840 grams and I want 10 equal portions, so 48 from 84. Then you'll dust your countertop a bit. I'm using wood because this is just easier to shape on this type of wood than it is on this table. Now what you're going to do is you only dust the bottom part of your portion of dough, then you pull in the sides to the center so you have this nice little tight ball, and then I just like to pull in all of the edges until you have this nice little like mozzarella ball. Then you turn it over, dust your hand if needed, turn it over and just gently scrape your bowl over your countertop and apply some pressure so that you get a nice little tight ball. And that's it. Just repeat until you have 10 portions. I'm going to lay this on my countertop. Dust your countertop as well so that it doesn't stick. And place a damp towel underneath so that the surface doesn't dry out. But what's really nice, you can already see those nice little air bubbles developed in your dough. And that is what is going to create our pocket in a bit. Yeah, I'm going to repeat this so that I have 10 portions of dough and place it over there with a damp towel over it. Before we start with our chicken, we're going to preheat the oven to 230 degrees Celsius. And also, if you don't have a baking stone or pizza stone, you're going to turn over your baking sheet so that it's flat on top and place it into your oven and preheat it with your oven, because you want this to be as hot as possible when you place your pitas on top. I turn it over because you can easily shoot out your pitas from onto your baking dish. You don't have to pull it out, you don't have to open your oven door too long because it cools off very fast and you want that heat to stay in there. So turn it over, preheat to 230. Now we're going to prepare our chicken. I am just going to cut all the gross parts off. I really don't like that white stuff. I know some people just leave it on, but I don't want to. And I never wash my chicken because you're just spreading the bacteria. And this I'm going to place in my dishwasher. I'm going to wash my hands and everything is fine. If you wash your chicken, the bacteria will be all over your sink. Now I'm not going to cut it in strips. I am going to cut slices off so that we have thin slices that we're going to bake later. You do need a sharp knife for this. And I think I need to let my knife sharpen my knife because it's not as sharp as it used to be. Okay, so like I said, thin strips. Place it into your bowl and repeat, and then we're going to season and add yogurt. Time to get back to our pita bread because our oven has been preheating and they've been lying here for about 30 minutes. Where do I have my dough scraper? Okay. Should I use a tap or a flour? What will manage? So this is our first pita ball over here. Now just flour it because you don't want it to stick to your hands. Flour your hands, it's fine. What I like to do is not roll it out, but just press it gently, because I find that if you roll it out and you're a bit too rough, you kind of ruin the whole effect, and there's no pocket when you put it in the oven. So you can use it, but it's not the kind of pita that you want. So I just gently press it down, and also I make sure that it's not sticking to my wooden board. And then I just press it down. Keep on gently pressing it down until you have the shape that you want. And make sure it's evenly. It's thick everywhere, the same. What's wrong with me today? My words. Just make sure it's flattened out evenly. That's what I was going for. Okay. And you want it nice and round, obviously. Okay. That's it. I'm going to put this one to the side and do my other one because we're baking them in twos. As you can see, I'm not using a lot of pressure. I'm just spreading them out relaxed, just, you know. The 30 minutes rest period also helps with relaxing the gluten, so it shouldn't take that much effort to spread them out. Okay. I say okay quite a lot, I know. Make sure they're not stuck to your board, because we kind of just want them to go floop into the oven. I'm going to reposition the camera so that you can see what I'm talking about. So here are my pitas. They're not stuck. Nope. And I'm now going to quickly open the oven and shove them in. Ah, shite. Saved it. Ooh, beautiful. Keep your baked pitas in a kitchen towel and repeat with the rest. Now, just a little side note, not all ovens are the same. I know mine gets a little bit hotter after it's been on for quite some time. So if your pitas are not as tan or just a little bit white, turn up the heat of your oven a little bit. I've cut up some cucumbers, some red onion, and I've made a garlic sauce, the best garlic sauce ever, with 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise, 3 tablespoons of creme fraiche, 3 cloves of garlic chopped up, and some dried chives. You can do fresh, but it's just a garlic sauce, and who cares? Dried is fine. Heat up some sunflower oil in a pan and bake your chicken in batches on medium to high heat. And that is the chicken done. Now it's time to assemble. I'm going to cut the chicken in strips first. And the best part about this is also because you're marinating them in yogurt, the chicken is still very moist and it's just the best. You could do them with the spices, just no yogurt, but I prefer it this way because it can be a bit dry because there are quite a lot of spices in here. If you don't add the yogurt, it can be a bit dry. So my little pouch of pitas, lovely. Do we have a preference? Let's get this one. Cut it open. So these are not the same as a Greek pita. I saw someone make Greek pita on YouTube, and they made these and then just put everything on top and folded it over. No, these pitas with pockets, you have to cut them open and you have to stuff them. That's why they have pockets, so you can put stuff in there. First we put some garlic sauce, then our veggies, and then our chicken. We have a, yeah. Maybe some more. I love red onion. Just a little tip, if you're like me and then you love red onion, but when you eat it, just keep burping up red onion the entire night. Just rinse them off under some cold water, and then that really harsh flavor goes away, and also you wouldn't regurgitate it the entire evening. Lastly, finish it off with some more garlic sauce, and that is it. That's your pita bread. So I've been making these since I was around 16, and I've kind of evolved the recipe because I used to make them with store-bought pitas. I used to make them with store-bought garlic sauce, store-bought spices. So as I got older, I started making everything from scratch, and it's so good. I think we eat this once a week. And also, if you love cheese, add some cheese into your pita as well, because that is amazing. It makes it just a lot creamier. Yeah, I can highly recommend it. So I'm going to eat this one, and then I'm going to try to make another one and take a great picture. And that's really difficult because it's so good, but it's not really a fancy dish, or it's not very photogenic, and it's very difficult to photograph. But I just wanted to share it with you guys. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you will make this recipe, and I hope you enjoy it. See you later.